Hey, boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Soar High Personal Development, your source for
motivation,
inspiration,
rant,
encouragement,
everything.
Ron's
mixed bag.
So,
That's funny.
we got all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight. We got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. But we're going to be a little serious.
Quotations around cool.
Cool, man. I use that word all the time.
Cool.
I mean, it's like all the time.
Is it radical?
I don't know what it is about the word cool. I guess it's like out of the 60s or 70s, huh?
I don't know.
You know, my brother was a hippie. This goes back into like the 70s. He was a real hippie.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I have to show some pictures one of these days.
Yes.
He was a cool cat. Cool cat. That's out of the 50s, maybe.
Yeah, that's old.
Anyway, cool.
Cool.
It's cool.
Cool.
Everything's cool. People send me messages and I'll respond, cool.
Cool.
Or I'll put nice. I do that all the time, too. I don't know where I come up with this shit. At any rate, a little bit serious stuff to kind of start with here. So we're going to talk, I think we've done this before, but I like to talk about, this is really important to me, how to help people to overcome their fears.
Okay.
And I'll just use a real current personal example of what I'm talking about. So, as you know, I'm in the martial arts business, and many years ago when I started, my coach would say, "You got to go to a tournament. You got to fight." I said, "Oh my God, I can't do that. I'm not qualified. Ron, you have to face your fears."
Right.
I can still see a video in my head of him preaching to me about this, pointing his finger at me. And I said to myself, out of respect to him, I said to myself, "Okay, I've got to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm scared to do it, but I'm going to do it." And man, that whole week that I did my first tournament, I was a mess. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. I mean, I was nervous all week, not just the day of it. So finally the day came, oh my God, I thought. So I went into this big arena and I did it. And I thought, man, I felt so relieved after I got done.
Right.
Then I understood what he meant was that after you do it, it's like a letdown. You feel relieved.
Right.
Because the pressure's off, right? And then you feel like $1 million because you did it. I didn't do very good. I got beat, but I did it. So the point I'm trying to make is whether it's stage fright, like entertainment, whether it's public speaking, which I do as well, whether it's going to a tournament, whether it's facing your spouse and saying something you don't want to say, whether it's your coworkers' relation, whatever it is, you have to face your fears head on. And then guess what? It's like getting the key out of your jail cell. You're out of prison.
Right.
Can you maybe cite an example for yourself along these lines? Or something you've heard of?
So it's also talking to your coworkers or your friends and, being honest with them about maybe something that they're going through, an easy example is like alcoholism. Say a certain friend has a problem with alcoholism.
Which we know some of those people.
And you want to help them and you say, "Listen, I think you have this problem, blah, 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 blah." It's hard to say that to some people.
Yes.
You don't know how they're going to take it. It's hard to word it correctly.
They're probably going to be defensive.
Exactly.
And mad at you for, how dare you?
Or offended. Not only defensive, but offended. How you're my friend.
How dare you say that?
How can you tell me that?
I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends, but there's so many other things, like you said, with a spouse, something that the spouse is not doing correctly, like, avoiding your feelings on something, or they're doing something that you don't really care for or that you don't like, and confronting them about that can be hard for some people. So facing those uncomfortable moments, hitting things head on, don't you agree with me, is the right way to go? I agree.
And it's never going to be easy.
No.
But it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Plus, you're going to feel better about yourself for getting it off your chest or for getting it out of your head. Like, oh, I don't want to ever do that, but I really would, but I'd like to, but I don't want to, but I'm afraid I don't. I get all that. How about skydiving? Somebody said, you got to go skydiving. I thought, oh my God, I don't want to go skydiving.
No.
But I have to go skydiving.
Not
because,
me.
Well, I mean, it's on my bucket list.
Not me.
I have to.
Sorry. Not me. You have to face your fears. No, you can have fun with that. I'm good on that one. That's one I'll never do.
On,
I just can't.
How many people die jumping out of planes?
Oh, it's not even the dying part. I'd rather spend my time somewhere else.
But I'll tell you a story about that. I went to Vegas, been there a few times.
Right.
It's called the Stratosphere. It's 100 stories. And they've got a ride up there where you can ride up. I didn't take the ride, but I did get buckled up and I jumped off the building, 100 foot. Let me tell you that story. And I have a film of it, by the way. I had a GoPro on my wrist.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to show it to you sometime. It's pretty good. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I was like screaming. Any rate, you jump. It's crazy. But here's the deal. I've talked to a lot of my friends that are in the martial arts business, and not one of them wants to. They're scared to death. I'm thinking, these guys are fighters, but they're scared to death. And that's just crazy to me. But I mean, I get it, but at the same time, man, they need to face their fears because they're in a business that's like, everybody's looking to them for strength, and people look to me for strength. So you have to do these things, and when you're in a leadership position, you have to do things that are not comfortable.
Yes.
Or else you're not credible, in my opinion, to these people that are looking up to you. Not as credible. Okay, I'll get off that subject
I
for a
understand.
minute. So I think that, and you need to learn how to do this stuff without drugs and alcohol. Like, I have a friend that wants to perform. You do too. And she's always had to do karaoke. She has to drink. And I said, listen, Jess, you have to learn to perform without alcohol. Jess, you have to learn, because otherwise it's a Band-Aid. It's not, you're not being honest with yourself. You have to learn how to do that. And I think a lot of people, listen, I've talked to a lot of people that do public speaking, and they're drinking before they go on. I've talked to fighters that drink and drug before they go and perform. That's crazy. You can't do that. You're kidding yourself. You're setting a poor example. Look, I'm not saying it's comfortable, but you have to learn how to handle yourself sober.
I agree. If you can't, then, that's on you.
And you're never going to be happy with yourself because you're always deluding yourself.
Exactly.
How many people do we know that have to use alcohol to even function in life?
Too many.
Too many. Sad, man. But
it is.
Okay, I'm not trying to belabor the point, but like I told you my story when I couldn't get on airplanes and I used to take drugs, and I finally said, wait a minute, man, I'm kidding. I have to do this sober. And finally I learned to do it sober. Was it comfortable? Hell no. I had all these anxiety issues, and I'd get all freaked out but I said to myself, it's the only way I'm ever going to feel good about myself and overcome this fear. Mm-hmm. I never completely overcame it, but I'm probably 95%. I've learned to manage it much better.
Right.
If you were on an airplane with me right now, you probably would never know it, that it was bothering me, because I conceal it pretty good because I've learned how to manage it. But it's just always a little bit there. I don't think you ever completely overcome any kind of a struggle 100%, but you learn to manage it.
The landing.
Is that a fair comment?
Yes.
And is that an honest comment?
It is.
Most people wouldn't tell you that. They'd be like, "Oh no, everything's fine." No, it's not. It's not completely.
Like I want to say I mentioned this a couple podcasts ago, but when I show off like a mix and master to my artist, I get nervous. I'm like, are they going to like it? Are they not going? Still,
interesting.
Still, I've worked with these artists
After
for
all
a
these
year
years.
now.
Wow.
Yeah, and being a producer for a couple years, like. It still gets to me. I start to sweat.
Really?
Yeah, I start to perspirate
wow.
real bad, and I'm just
like,
I get like anxious. I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna like it? Are they gonna like it? Are they gonna like it? I don't know. That's like my biggest fear now is somebody telling me that they don't like my work.
That's really interesting.
I don't know why.
But. Well, I think it comes back to confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're always a little bit. I mean, your confidence right now compared to when I met you is like off the charts. Mm-hmm. But are you still working on it? Yes.
Always.
Just like me. I'm always working on it myself. I'm the same way, man. For all that I've been able to accomplish, I still always feel like I should be able to accomplish much more. I never feel like I'm where I need to be. So I'm with you on that. But I think that's because we're very ambitious people.
I agree.
And we're very determined people to be more accomplished.
There's a couple interruptions that are going to happen, but it's okay. We're going to keep going. The podcast is happening.
Podcast is happening.
Yeah. Our second broadcast, it looks like our guest needs to go.
Oh.
He's a young kid, so he kind of doesn't have control of some.
Is he anxious to leave?
No, it's more that his grandmother is on him because she needs the car.
I see. I got you.
Which I do understand.
Well, we're going to work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
So back to this discussion about facing your fears and overcoming them. I think another thing that will help people is to make a list.
Check it twice.
Make a list of what's bothering you.
I'm sorry.
Make a list of what's bothering you.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a long list, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 items. And you know what you have to do? You have to look at those every day and think about, how can I get better at whatever's on the list that's bothering you? How can I overcome these issues? How can I solve these problems, whatever they are? It doesn't have to even be a fear. It could just be, hey, I don't feel like I'm accomplishing enough, and what can I do to make that happen? Maybe I should set a better goal, a new goal, because my goal is like too old, and I've already accomplished that goal. I need to set a new goal. So we're kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see if I can read my writing.
I'm telling you, it's the aliens. It's the aliens.
So that's been pretty much what I wanted to talk about on the front side of our podcast tonight, and we can have some fun if you want.
Okay.
We can talk about some different things. So I read this article today. Read several articles today. So you remember the time we talked about the guy that started Cash App, and he was murdered?
Yeah.
Okay, so the story goes he was sleeping with a lady,
right,
married to a plastic surgeon.
Yes,
so obviously a lot of money there.
And the brother,
somehow they got together. The brother got mad about it. Said, "You're giving my sister drugs, and you're taking advantage." And they got in this argument. He killed him. And this is like at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. San Francisco, the guy's wandering up down the street trying to, please help me. Nobody would help him. He dies. He bleeds to death. That's two different things that are terrible. First of all, he got stabbed. Second of all, nobody helped him.
Have you been to downtown San Francisco recently?
I've been to downtown.
Recently?
Well, let's say I've been to San Francisco. It's been a few years ago.
How long? How many few years ago?
Maybe 7, 8 years ago.
Okay, so that's about the time I was there.
And what did you notice?
It's hectic.
It's hectic.
Very, very hectic.
It's a big city.
It is. It's huge. I mean, you can be on the outskirts. Like, we weren't downtown. We were outside of downtown, but in the city.
Yeah.
It was still busy. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of things going on. And then when you get into downtown, it gets even more hectic. Crossing the bridge to go interstate.
And he died by the bridge, by the way. By the San Francisco Gate, by the Gate Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, which is pretty interesting. If you've never been there, you should go to San Francisco to check all. There's some cool places there.
I like the Golden Gate Bridge.
It's really cool.
I prefer is it the Bay Bridge? There's that other bridge that connects you from San Francisco to Oakland.
There you go. Okay.
I like that bridge. It
so
lights up at night.
So back to the story.
Sorry, go ahead.
The point I'm trying to make is, it turns out that this guy that killed him has got a history of violence. He stabbed some other people like 15, 16, 17 years ago. He got in a fight with some teenagers, stabbed these teenagers. So there's some backstory to this. The other thing that I mentioned in the former podcast about this situation is that here's the woman who maybe she orchestrated it, maybe she did, but she was definitely part of the gig.
Right.
And here she's scot-free. The brother's going to prison. The guy's dead, and she's scot-free. I mean, it's crazy, but that's the triangle. And that happens. Listen, this is not the only time this has happened. Speaking of women and how this plays out, listen to this story. I love women like the next guy, but when it comes to money and power, you know what? There's a lot of problems in relationships, and women usually get the upper hand. They usually get even by hurting the guy as much as they can. And in this case, this woman killed her husband. Now check this out. She not only did she kill him, but she killed him what was the drug? She used a drug. Damn it, I can't remember what the drug was now, but it was fentanyl. Like 5 times, when they did the autopsy, 5 times the amount that it would take to kill somebody. That's how much she put in his drink or whatever it was. And it took like a year to figure out that she was the culprit. But they went back into her computer. She had all these different sites that she'd gone to about fentanyl. How much fentanyl does it take to kill somebody? And she tried to change the insurance policy where she'd be the sole beneficiary.
That's crazy.
I mean, how crazy is that?
That's crazy.
And I'm not like singling out women because I love women, but you know what? In this case, it's another example of how, and this guy thought she was his best friend in the whole world.
Right.
And behind the scenes, she was plotting to kill this guy.
I know.
And did it.
That's crazy.
Now she's in prison. No bail. Well, not in prison. She's in jail. No bail. I just thought these stories are really interesting. It's sad, man. But do you really know your spouse? Do you really know your best friend?
I don't know.
Do you really know your girlfriend?
Do you?
Who was the girl that killed her boyfriend? Famous killing. She killed him in the shower. And they had all these nude pictures online. Remember that story? It's just a few years ago. And she was, what's her name? She became really famous on the internet.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because this guy was like, he was screwing around on her when she found out. She waited till they made love, waited when he got to the shower, and then she just stabbed the hell out of him. She took all the pictures. You don't remember this story?
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, my God.
I don't remember this.
You ought to see the pictures. It's horrible. He's in the shower, and she took all these pictures of him.
Crazy.
Yeah. So she's in prison.
Right.
Of course, now she's got all these, I didn't mean to do it, and this and that. Oh my God! But I mean, do you really know your spouse?
There's some crazy stuff. Crazy.
They're here.
So.
And I'm not trying to be morbid, guys, but these kinds of stories fascinate me.
I saw a TikTok of a girl who said when she found out that her boyfriend cheated on her, she killed him.
Okay, same idea. That's what I just said.
But in this TikTok, she said the judge let me out, like said to go finish school.
Go finish school.
And she just got off scot-free.
Got off scot-free.
I was like, what? What? There's no way, right?
How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know
about that story.
I don't know.
I don't know how that's even possible.
I don't know. I was just flabbergasted because I saw it on TikTok and I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh, man.
What are you talking about?
Okay, ready for this?
Yes.
So, banking. We always talk about banking. Going business, right? So all these different banking things that go on. So check this out, man.
Okay.
I went through this experience recently where the bank just randomly decided to put a hold on my deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a result of that, guess what? 2 checks were returned to 2 different people. Uncollected funds. Well, look, fortunately, they were people that I knew. They trusted me. I trusted them, and I took care of it. But what if it would have been somebody random that didn't know me, that didn't understand?
Right.
And to them, this could have been like, oh, he wrote me a bad check.
Right.
No, it wasn't a bad check because the bank decided to put a hold on the funds. So when the check came through, it says uncollected funds. And they don't even tell me anything. How about a phone call?
Right.
Hey, this is a large deposit. We're going to put a 3-day hold on it. If you've got any checks outstanding, make sure. They don't even tell me that the checks didn't. They don't even put it on my account, on my online account. I had to guess who it might have been. That's horrible.
That is crazy.
How about at least on my bank, on my statement online, it would say, this check is returned, this check. No, nothing. Zero. Nothing. So that put me in a bad position.
Right.
Now, does the bank have the right to do it? Yes. But how about some courtesy?
I agree.
Call me. I mean, I've been a client at this bank for years. But here's the other side of the coin. I don't borrow any money. I don't have a banking relationship with a banker because I'm independent. I don't borrow money. So now so I get penalized for that? That's not right.
No.
I'm not complaining. I'm just analyzing. So people are listening, and you might go through the same thing. I get it. It's not fair, but that's the way it works in banking in today's world. There's a lot of, they just don't care.
A lot of uncertainties.
And if you borrow money, guess what? You're going to pay through the nose. Because the interest is high, and they're going to expect you to pay it on time. And if you don't, you're the bad guy, and they're going to come after you. I've been through all that, too. It's a whole other podcast for a whole other day. Yeah. Okay, you ready for this?
Yes.
This is kind of funny.
Okay.
I thought it's funny. Okay. How are we doing on time?
We're at 17 minutes.
Okay, we got a few more minutes, so we'll get out of here early because we got to do another podcast.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, we can take our time on this one.
Well, we got a few more things to go over.
Okay.
But I want to make sure our guest on our next podcast is still here.
Well, that was what I was trying to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's already gone.
Take your time.
Oh, take your time.
Take your time.
Take your time then. Okay. So this is funny.
Okay.
To me. But you know what? I have such a weird sense of humor. I mean, I'm such a dry humor. I can find humor
cynical.
I can find humor in almost anything.
Right.
And I love that about myself, but a lot of people get mad at me, but that's okay. So last night, late, after I worked out, I went through Wendy's to get a baked potato. Okay. You got a baked potato from Wendy's. Baked potato, which is cool. Okay. Because nobody gets baked potatoes but me. I'm the only guy. Right. So I pull through, and it takes a long time to get, like they're obviously short-staffed. Mm-hmm. And as I pull up, I hear this sound. It's like a shrieking sound. I don't even know if I could even I don't even know if I could use the voice that she had, but it was so uncomfortable to hear this. I mean, it was so high and so shrieking, and it was so loud. I mean, I'm right next to the speaker, and I thought, oh my God, what is going on here? So I pull up to the window, and I see this lady waving me, because the first window was where you're supposed to stop, but she's not at that window. She's at the next one, and she's put her hand out the window like this, and I pull up to her. Oh my God, this girl was she was pleasant, but this voice, it was so hard to take the voice. Oh my God. And her mannerisms were she was so sweet it was too much.
It was too much.
Yeah, all I wanted to do was get my baked potato and go home.
Right.
And she, oh my God, you just would have had to have been there. But
She was overly nice in a way.
and the voice, it was like, you know the noise when we used to be in the classroom and they would run the fingernails over the chalkboard?
Yep.
That was the voice.
Hate that voice.
I don't know how she could mimic that, but she almost mimicked that noise.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and she was just, you could tell, having a great time all by herself. She had one other guy in the kitchen, and it was her and him taking care of everybody. So they were obviously shorthanded, but I thought that was kind of funny.
That is funny.
Okay, now, let's talk about tattoos. Ready?
Okay.
So I'm at the gym today, and my buddy DJ P's in there, the world-famous DJ. And he's got all these tattoos. I said, I don't remember seeing all these tattoos. Oh, yeah, I've had this and this, and I just got this.
Got money. He got money.
Yeah, he got some money. He's been paid quite a bit lately. He's doing really good for himself. I'm happy.
Which is good. I'm happy
Great.
too.
He's an entertainer. We're in the entertainment business.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. It's great. He's paid his dues. He's been doing this for like 50s since he was 10. Do the math. It's a long time.
Yeah, it is a long time.
Yeah, but he's earned his rank and he gets paid good money for what he does. And he's really good at what he does. So I said, man, what is it about the tattoos? I don't have any tattoos. Why is it so important to have a tattoo? And at first he starts kind of stuttering along a little bit, and then he gets real serious. Well, look, man, this tattoo represents this. And I said, okay, so what are you really trying to say? That you are proud of what it stands for, and you want everybody to know that you're proud of what that stands for.
Right.
And that's kind of got to the essence of what it was all about in this conversation.
Right.
And so after that conversation, I said, okay, I kind of get it now.
Okay.
I kind of get that, although not all tattoos are that way.
No, not all.
So then he said, the rest of it is, yeah, you're right. It's trendy. It is like
Kinda.
Yeah. So I got into that discussion with. I said, because not every tattoo that you have is about something that's important.
No.
So we got into that discussion. Then I talked to the manager of the gym, and he had a lot of tattoos. And I said, okay, what is it about tattoos? And he says, well, this tattoo right here stands for, in Latin, it stands for never give up. I said, now you're talking my language. I get that. That's cool. He says, people ask, what does that mean? He goes, well, that means never give up. I said, now I really appreciate what you're saying because people are going to benefit from that discussion that you have on your. Exactly. Whereas I might walk up to somebody and say, how's it going, man? Oh, not so good. And I might get into a motivational discussion, but he gets it started off right away with the tattoo.
Exactly.
I thought that was cool.
Exactly.
What do you have to say about that?
I have a tattoo that is like that. Like, it's furthest thing from perfect. That's what it says.
Okay.
And I see it every day, like when I drive or like when I get up. If I'm using my phone, I can just read it. You know, all my other tattoos are cool. I just like them because they're cool. I like art. I'm an artist.
Okay, I heard that word today, art.
I'm an artist, and all of the artists that have put their art on my body.
I get it.
You know, I want to show off their art. That's how I think of it.
Fair enough.
I'm very, I love the tattoos that do have meaning, and like this one, it has a meaning.
Fair enough.
But, for me, it's about the art. It's about expressing myself.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
one last thing about tattoos.
Okay.
Man, it's really hard for me to look at an old woman that has tattoos. I'm sorry. There's just something about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't say things like that.
No, I mean, I understand.
Man, it doesn't look as bad, but women that are old, man, it just doesn't look very good, in my opinion.
Tattoos wear very harsh. They don't wear very well. When you're younger, they look good because your skin is pretty and blah, blah, blah.
But when you're old, man, it ain't that way.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll move on to another subject.
Okay.
I saw, or who did I see interviewed that said this? Somebody said about borrowing money. I'm trying to think who it was now. Oh, Simon Cowell. Mm-hmm. So he was interviewed.
Okay.
The guy that owns American Idol, or used to own American Idol. He owns.
Yeah.
What are the names of those different events, or different genre or venues? American Idol, X Factor.
Yeah, X Factor.
Britain's Got Talent. All of, so he owns all.
America's Got Talent.
So he was interviewed about his early career, and he says, yeah, I got into the music business, and I did really good, and I was driving a nice car and had a big home, and I've gotten really big in debt, and then the business fell apart, and I went broke, and I owed $500,000 to the bank, and I tucked my tail, and I went home to my parents, and then I had to come up with a game plan to pay the money back, and he didn't really say how he came up with the money. I'm thinking between working really hard and maybe his parents helped, he paid it back. He said he paid it back.
Okay.
But he said he learned an important lesson. Never borrow money.
Right.
And he said he never borrowed money after that. And I could relate to that because early in my career, I went through the same damn thing. Banks were loaning me money like crazy. They'd come into my office and, what do you need? What do you need? Here's some money. I mean, I'll never forget the feeling that I had of like, I felt like, man, I have arrived. I'm the guy.
Right.
And when you're young, and you know what? I look back on that because when I failed and I went bankrupt, oh my God, it was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
So I relate to what Simon Cowell said, and I just wanted to bring that up because when he said that, it's the first time I've heard somebody say it the way I felt it. I thought that was pretty cool.
No, and I agree. Don't
now, I'm not saying you should borrow money, but
you don't have to.
Yeah, right. But in our business world, the way you and I operate, we pay as we go, collect as we go.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm so happy that we're doing it that way. Is it easy? Not necessarily easy, but I think as we become further down the line and our businesses grow, we're going to feel a lot happier and more proud of our effort because we didn't do it the easy way.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Real estate, profession, and health. I think these are three things you should think about every day, and I think everything else should pale in comparison. Your health, your business or profession, and buying a home. Real estate is a great investment, and people, we should own more real estate. You and I both, our company should own more real estate. And I think because real estate never fails. It always goes up in value. Even if you do it all wrong, you just hang in there for a while, you're going to have value.
Even if there's a recession, and then it will always go back up.
Yes.
It will always go back up.
So people talk about, I need to buy a house. Yes, buy a house. Now that's a loan that I'm okay with. I don't like car loans. I don't like business loans, but I'm cool with real estate. Smart investment.
I don't like loans in general, personally. If you don't need
to
do it, don't do it.
I'm with you 100%.
Coming from a 25-year-old, someone who hasn't even had that much experience with loans, just don't do it if you don't need it.
By the way, I had some fun Saturday. I did a tournament.
Okay.
And people were looking at me like, but you know what? I tell all my students, like, man, just get in there and have fun with it. Don't worry about the outcome. I gave it hell and I lost, but you know what? I had a good time and no excuses. And there's nothing like it but back to facing your fears. Get in there and just participate, man. Don't worry about losing or winning. The winning is doing it. That's the key, man. That's the key.
It's the same thing as our performance on Saturday. I went up there.
And people were saying, oh, I bet he was younger. Well, nobody's my age in there. Nobody's going to when I go to these international tournaments, there are people close to my age.
Right.
And it's a different kind of a fight because but I love fighting young people because it's a thrill, man. It's exciting to see if I can hold my own. It's exciting to see what I can do. And sometimes I'm able to take advantage of circumstances and I can win.
Right.
But I certainly lose more than I win, but that's okay because, man, every time I do it, it's a thrill. And the way you feel when you come out of that, man, there's nothing like that feeling that you've gone in there and you've in the lion's den and you did your due diligence and you came out and you're still alive.
Yep.
And you're still operational and you're still functioning and you go on to your next battle.
I agree.
It's crazy, but that's the way I feel.
That's how it is with performing.
Same thing.
The Saturday I went up there and butchered it, but it was so fun.
It was great, though. I want to talk about Davin's our producer at Soar High Records.
We've only got a couple minutes, so
okay, we're about done. And man, I thought that music was so good the other night.
Thank you.
Saturday night in Springfield, Missouri, Bruner, Missouri. Something about outdoors, man. It was just so much. The sound was great.
Crazy.
I loved it.
It's crazy. Outdoor venues are crazy.
Yeah, you got a tiger by the tail, man. Your music's really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let's wrap it up. What do you got to say?
I would say last thoughts. I mean, what I have to say, I don't think I really have much. Don't take a loan if you don't need it. That's what it is. Face your fears, but don't take a loan. If you fear a loan, good, you should. Don't take it. Yeah, don't take it.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here, and we appreciate you listening. Appreciate all you people that listen to the whole podcast. I know most people don't go all the way through it, but we've got over 60-some podcasts on our YouTube channel, Soar High Personal Development.
And if you are listening, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Also, we're doing our new podcast now, which is the Ron Bass Show. We started that last week, and we're going to do that every week.
We're going to have a good one tonight.
Going to be featuring our music from our entertainment company, our Soar High Records company. Usually we'll have an artist. If we don't, we're still going to let you listen to our new music. And that's coming up here next on our YouTube channel. So same channel, it's just two different podcasts. So until next time, if you don't give up, just remember the stars, they will line up. So until next time, don't take any wooden nickels, and stay positive.